Greetings! We're here next to some beautiful clear water on a lovely fall morning along the middle fork of the Smith River in northwestern California. It's been a number of days of intense rains, and even so, this river is still running beautifully clear as it usually is. And it's often seen as one of the cleanest rivers in the West, and as you can see, it's just after a monsoon of rain washing down all these soils, there's very little silt coming through, and that's kind of what they mean. It's not necessarily because it's exquisitely pristine. It has its share of impact and pollution, just like any river basically anywhere. But what it does have is a lack of siltation. The reason why there's very little siltation in these soils and why they're so clean is because it's the so-called serpentine soils. The land itself is not prone to creating a lot of silt, and so you get these really clear streams, and that's, kind of the reality of the Smith River is, it's advertised as one of the cleanest free-flowing rivers in the West, in America, and it's not so much due to their conservation of it. It, just like any other river, has an extensive history of resource extraction. You can see this is a wash coming through here. Beautiful, beautiful reflections in here. But there was extensive mining history, resource extraction going back into the 1800s. And of course, there are dozens and dozens of mines in this country up in the hills, all abandoned. They didn't ban new mining claims until 1990. So you can picture off in these hills, there's tunnels and adits and portals and vertical shafts and old roads and all sorts of mine waste, slowly leaching all their nasty stuff into the water. And so it may look like clear water, but I personally would not drink it. Not unless it was a dire survival situation. Here at this little campground along the middle fork. The sun is just coming up on the Deus area, and it's really, really pretty here. But I'll tell you a little something about how clean the Smith River really is. There's a good shot of the serpentine landscape. It's all eroding away. It likes to just sort of break apart into chunks, not so much grind up into silt. Now, just downstream of us, you may have heard of a place called Pelican Bay State Prison. It is one of California's supermax prisons. It's a gnarly place, and there's some really messed up people there. And they have a secure housing unit. It is surrounded by 40, 50-foot barbed wire fences, multiple layers of it, topped with razor wire. It's lit up like daytime in the middle of the night. And like any prison, they have to have a water treatment system if they don't have a municipality to hook up to. And since the city did not want them to hook up to it, they had to make up their own, or install their own system. And the city of Crescent City, which was the nearby town about 8 miles away, oh, it's beautiful. Look at how beautiful this is. They were using an old drum-type system that was very prone to problems, and so the prison installed what's called an Orbital system. And I happened to tour Pelican Bay State Prison's water treatment facility, and the effluent that comes out of that prison goes into the Smith River. It's about a mile and a half away from the prison. It comes in around near 101, where 101 crosses the Smith River. I'm going to try and get down to the river here and actually look at it. There's a rapid. And that outfall has effluent, just like any other sewer treatment place. And that effluent is actually tested, and it is usually cleaner than the Smith River itself. Try to get my shadow out of the frame. Oh, it's beautiful. Let's just kind of meander down. Now, think about that. The stuff that goes into a prison's toilet system and sewer system is about as bad as it's going to get anywhere. The people running the facility said you wouldn't believe what those prisoners put down those toilets and what they do into that system. And so when what comes out of Pelican Bay State Prison is cleaner than this water, well, you just can't sit and believe the PR when they say this is one of the cleanest rivers. It's one of the clearest rivers. It certainly is not drinkable, and it certainly is not free of pollution, especially not when Highway 199, one of the major routes between Oregon and Northern California, in fact the only route between the Rogue Valley and Northwest California, without taking I-5 around, you can't get out here without coming down 199, and so it's heavily trafficked. And of course, every trafficked road is leaching vehicle pollution into the water that's below it, and the river runs for miles right next to the highway. And so, yeah, there's motor oil, there's diesel fuel, there's gas, there's antifreeze, there's all kinds of stuff in here, battery acid. And this is what our salmon have to deal with. There's certainly microplastics. It's not a pristine river. No river is pristine, because just like every other river in the West, this really doesn't stand a chance. All the way at its very headwaters, there's heavy use, people abusing the land up there, driving their vehicles very close to the watersheds. So it's stunningly clear water. You can see, especially when the water is calm, you can see dozens of feet down in. It's beautiful, and it's this incredible greenish color. It's just emerald and gorgeous, and it's one of the most beautiful rivers I've ever come across. It's similar to the Elk River up in southwestern Oregon near the town of Port Orford. Just a beautiful river. But the reality is, it's not as pristine as you think. It's clear, it looks clean, it's cool, it's full of fish at the right time of year. It's absolutely beautiful up and down its banks with incredible biodiversity and life. And it's verdant and wet, and still, we need to be looking out for these places better than we are. And so it's just been on my mind a lot lately, and I just wanted to take a few more minutes to say, look out for the water resources. They need our help, and we're not helping them. So we need to all do our part to try and find a way to make a little less pollution impact on our precious water resources.